Hello, and welcome back to Game Domain. Wow, this video is a long time in the making, and certainly a long time coming. Way back on May 13th, 2018, yes, over 4 years ago, we brought you guys a ranking of the Animal Crossing games. At the time, there were only 4 Animal Crossing games, as New Horizons would not be released until spring of 2020. That video has amassed over 100,000 views, sitting atop of the charts as one of our most viewed and popular videos in the history of the Game Domain channel and Domain TV brand, and being one of the top Animal Crossing ranking videos on all of YouTube. Now that we're over 4 years removed from that video's release, as well as over 2 years removed from the launch of the series' 5th installment, New Horizons, it's time to revisit that ranking and give you guys our new 2022 Ranking the Animal Crossing Games video. Enjoy! Number 5. Animal Crossing S.City Folk. Wow. This one still kills me even to this day. This is the writer of this video, Jason's, most nostalgic game in the series. But we have to put nostalgia aside and look at the facts. S.City Folk was the 3rd installment in the series, being released for the fairly new Nintendo Wii in 2008. Designed to be a much more improved graphical enhancement of both the original game and its predecessor, Wild World, S.City Folk did just that. It made the world seem much more realistic, albeit animals are talking to you constantly, as well as added some new mechanics and features that enhance the gameplay. One issue is, though, there weren't too many of those new features added into the game for it to truly stand out from its originals. Sure, the graphics looked much better, and it was a much more modern experience, but fans were looking for a huge crop of new added features, and they didn't get everything they asked for. Compared to the vast improvements made in future titles such as New Leaf and New Horizons, S.City Folk just didn't stand out from the series' other entries. This really does kill me, because we at Game Domain have such fond memories of playing this game as kids, but it objectively just isn't one of the better titles that the series has to offer when you look at all 5 games holistically. Animal Crossing is of course the original, and a great nostalgia kick for N64 and GameCube players. Wild World was the series' first handheld version, and is the game that we had at the number 1 spot on our original ranking from 2018. New Leaf vastly improved on the graphics of the previous handheld Wild World, and set a great foundation for its future Nintendo Switch successor by introducing great characters, such as Isabelle, and allowing for you to be the mayor of your town. And New Horizons is just an absolute masterpiece that fans are still playing every day, nearly 2.5 years after its launch. S.City Folk is great, but sadly, has to come in at number 5 on our ranking of the Animal Crossing games. Number 4. Animal Crossing New Leaf. Wild World was an amazing handheld depiction of the Animal Crossing world and everything it has to offer. New Leaf, although chronologically a successor to S.City Folk, really built off all the cool and unique handheld features introduced in Wild World and made for an incredibly great experience. New Leaf was released in the middle of the 3DS's dominance, while the popularity of the handheld console was at an all-time high alongside launches of Pokémon X and Y, Mario Kart 7, and other popular 3DS releases. New Leaf gave us much improved graphics, gameplay, and sound mechanics, and one whole new surprise, the title of Mayor. Instead of being a regular citizen moving into a new town, you're given a seat in the mayor's office and will do everything you can to meet new people, explore the beautiful town, and most of all, have fun. New Leaf also enhanced the character customization and home customization mechanics, as it added many more options for the players to choose from. The new mayor feature and increased customization laid a perfect foundation for the game's successor, New Horizons. New Leaf offered a great blend of all the best features of the previous 3 Animal Crossing games, and New Horizons was able to build on this and use the power of the Switch to drastically enhance the world. New Leaf turned a new leaf in the franchise. Sorry, we could not say that. New Leaf's spot doesn't change from our original ranking, remaining as the 4th ranked game in the Animal Crossing series. Number 3, Animal Crossing. The original. Always the most nostalgic, sometimes the best, but always has a big spot in our hearts. The original Animal Crossing is no different. Released on the N64 and also ported to the Nintendo GameCube, the original Animal Crossing title laid down the foundation for the entire franchise that followed. The game added many features that at the time was revolutionary, And one of these was the fact that you could have up to 4 different player-controlled characters in one world. Everyone in your family who desired to play the game would be able to all join in one big town. The game also had connectivity with the Game Boy Advance, as joining the consoles with a link cable accesses a series of different tropical islands to visit with your character. You can also play various original NES games in different houses in your town, as you bring back past memories from old games while you make new memories in this one. The original, of course, introduced all of the household features we have in all of its successors: fishing, shopping, customizing your home, customizing your character, fossil hunting, and so much more. The original also introduced all of the well-known characters we know and love, some of which we still have to this day in New Horizons. Tom Nook, Mr. Rossetti, and KK Slider are the mainstays introduced in this original title. The game was incredibly well received at the time of release, and still is to this day. The game received an 86% from Game Rankings, and an 87 rating from Metacritic. IGN gave it a 9.1 out of 10, a very high rating that all fans of the franchise would agree with. The original Animal Crossing will always have a huge spot in Nintendo fans' hearts, and it finds itself right in the middle of our updated ranking of the Animal Crossing games. Number 2, Animal Crossing Wild World. The number 1 spot in our 2018 ranking of the franchise's games, Wild World, was not only a revolutionary title in the Animal Crossing series, but a revolutionary title in the history of handheld gaming. At the time, Wild World was one of the first major titles on the brand new Nintendo DS. Wild World took advantage of the brand new handheld console's strong capabilities to create an expansive world never seen before on a handheld Nintendo console, outside of the Pokemon series. Wild World brought along all of the features set in place by the original, and expanded on them drastically. Wild World added the brand new Nintendo DS Wi-Fi connection system, allowing players to connect to other players all around the world. Animal Crossing is one of those games that doesn't have a significant plotline to follow, or an ultimate goal. This opens the game up to endless adventure, and keeps repeatedly giving players a sense of accomplishment. Being able to connect with other players, ranging from your next door neighbor to someone you've never met in a country thousands of miles away, it's a modern mainstay in the Animal Crossing series. New Horizons utilizes this better than any game in the series, but it is truly incredible to think that Wild World is the game that introduced this feature some 15 years prior. You have endless opportunities to customize your house, your outfit, and expand your horizons while interacting with friends in your world and abroad. The slingshot and watering can items were both added into the game, along with the ability to draw and observe constellations, writing letters in bottles, new types of fish and new food, and so much more. Wild World was the most innovative game in the series at the time of our previous ranking, hence why it took the number 1 spot. Although this game is still revered in the gaming community, receiving an 86 from Metacritic, there is one title in the franchise that takes the cake as the best Animal Crossing game. Number 1, Animal Crossing New Horizons. This one should have been no surprise. The entire reason we had to remake the original ranking was so we could give this title the credit, love, acknowledgement, and recognition it deserves as not only the greatest Animal Crossing game of all time, but one of the greatest Nintendo games of all time. New Horizons used every single ounce of the Nintendo Switch's power to provide us fans with the most beautiful, expansive, connective, powerful, and just overall best Animal Crossing experience that we've ever had. New Horizons could even be argued as the best game to come out on the Nintendo Switch, and it's pretty much unanimously considered in the top 5 Switch games on anybody's list, alongside the likes of Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and so many more in consideration for such a prestigious list. While New Leaf made you mayor, New Horizons made you god of your own island. You get to recruit which villagers you want to live on your island, completely redesign the landscape to suit how you want it, and there are more customization options than seemingly all of its predecessors combined. There are too many new features for us to discuss here, but just to name a few: island hopping, motion control, first-person camera, new villagers, fish, fossils, etc., expansive new home customization options, and farming and cooking. New Horizons is the second best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch, the best-selling game of all time in Japan, and the 13th best-selling game of all time. The sales numbers do not lie. Fans of all ages, from all backgrounds, all over the world, have loved this game from the moment it came out. This game put the Animal Crossing series more on the map than any of the series' previous entries. The Animal Crossing series was always in the top half of Nintendo's big popular franchises, but it was never quite as big as the cream of the crop for the company. New Horizons changed that, as millions of new fans enjoyed this title as their first in the series. Sure, the Switch's popularity helped those sales numbers, but New Horizons took new innovative leaps and put it in a league of its own. And so, 2020's Animal Crossing New Horizons takes the top spot on our updated ranking of the Animal Crossing games. Before the video ends, I wanted to take a moment to shout out to our friends over at youtube.com/shouldyouplayit. Should You Play It announces and reviews every single weekly free game that Epic releases. Start by checking out this video. Why does Epic give away so many free games? I promise that you will not be disappointed. Link will be in the description for you. Thank you for tuning in to today's Ranking the Animal Crossing games. Be sure to leave a like and comment in the comment section with your ranking of the Animal Crossing games. Check out our most recent videos, and in the description, you can also find the link to join our Discord and be a part of our channel and our fan base is fun with over 700 members. Until then, I'm Brett with Game Domain. We'll see you next time.